俺サイン欲しかったんだよな。
I'm literally gonna wait for you. And I see you're gonna be like, nah, I'm not gonna like. I'm just keep watching.
Just subscribe.
And you think the clip gonna cut right here, but it's not because I'm still waiting for you to click that like button, and the subscribe, and the post notification button.
So My Hero Academia is back again for another season, and it seems as though a lot of people are paying attention, but not as much as they should be, because in my eyes I think that this season could be My Hero Academia's most important season. And though you may think that I'm hyping it, I truly believe that, because at this point everybody knows what My Hero Academia is, but it's kind of lost steam in what people thought it would be. Because of the first season, everybody thought that this anime was going to be the best thing ever in terms of shonen. But when things didn't go that way, people just lost interest, to the point that My Hero Academia isn't taken seriously, to be real with you. But this season could change it all. First up, before I actually get into why this season is gonna be pretty good, I just have to keep it a buck with you. At some point, I dropped My Hero Academia. Yes, I did that, and well, I blame the anime, I'm sorry, because whatever that season was where they introduced this villain who was like an evil butler and they had a concert, and they lost me. I won't lie to you, because I watched that entire season and just felt fooled. Because if you're gonna give me filler, tell me you're gonna give me filler. Don't just give me a new season and then like at the end come to the realization that almost none of that actually mattered. What was the point of the concert?
What is going on in here?
It was a weird season and it lost me. But as time passed, I realized that I like My Hero Academia, so I returned. And after I returned, I found out that it's actually cooking, despite what people would want you to think. But let's actually really talk about this season specifically. Now, for me to tell you about this awesome season, I have to tell you about what the story's about. So basically, we follow this character called Midoriya. Midoriya lives in a world in which people have powers, known as quirks, and he wants to become a hero, which means that he needs a quirk. But unfortunately for him, he is quirkless.
Young man,
You are maidenless.
Which means that he doesn't have powers, he's just as normal as you and me. And he doesn't take that so well, because he's lost his dream as a kid, which means that essentially there's no point to this entire anime if we're gonna follow him, so we should find someone else. But luckily for him, he stumbles upon a weird situation. I'm just gonna add sauce to it, but basically what happens is he stumbles upon this guy who was wearing a white shirt and cargo pants, I'm not sure, but he looks highly suspicious. And he approaches Midoriya and says, "Hey, I can make you a hero if you follow me."
I'm in danger.
Now, of course, at this point, you would think that Midoriya should not go with that person, because what happens next is that this person says that, "Hey, I'm actually this guy called All Might, and I'm the #1 hero, and I'm super powerful." And Midoriya's like, "What?" And he turns into All Might, so it is All Might. But besides that, it was kind of weird because this dude got a kid to basically follow him somewhere, train with him, show him this nasty scar, but also made him eat his hair to gain powers. You call it what you want, but that was weird. And essentially then what happens is Midoriya gains abilities and he's super strong and powerful and stuff. So we basically follow his journey to becoming a superhero. That's basically it. Listen, we're at season 7. I can't cover every single season, but basically he just wants to become a hero. He now has powers, so he's gonna become a hero. At this point, you would think with that premise, it should be simple and straightforward. Everything's gonna go his way. He's basically been given powers by the #1 hero, so he should should be a monster immediately, and he's really smart. But things don't necessarily work out that way, and we see that throughout the seasons. But in contrast to season 1, season 7 has taken a totally dark turn. A lot of things have happened, a lot of stories have been told, and we're borderline at the end game because the villains have decided that they want to take over, and as such it's resulted in an action-packed season because the season starts off with this epic battle where America sends their best hero, and yeah, people got upset because she didn't last long, so villains won. And this darkness compared to the first season is what propels season 7, because the thing that makes this season so amazing is because yes, you're getting a lot of fights, like a lot of fights. The season starts off with a fight, but it's smarter substantially because there's so many plots within the anime that you actually really have to pay attention. But also everything just seems more intense because, as we've learned, especially from the arc with Stain, everybody has ambitions, everybody wants to be something, including the villains. And as such, when we see these villains fight this season, they have a sense of motivation. They're doing things for their own causes, their own reasons. A character like Darby is vengeful because of what happened with him and his father, and how he's kind of been brainwashed into thinking certain things because he has every reason to feel the way that he does. He feels rejected, he feels like he was abandoned, he feels like he's not good enough, and now he's taking it out on his father, which is understandable. These villains aren't villains with no purpose. They have a purpose, and they all have their own individual reasons that have been sprinkled throughout every single season to make these fights feel more impactful and more meaningful. And that is the awesomeness of this season. It's a season filled with action, but it's got a lot of meaning to the action. It's not just action based on the fact that they're trying to make the anime edgy and cool. It's justified action. But of course, with all of this awesomeness, I have to keep it a buck. With all of this action and the things that are happening, you want good animation. And not to necessarily diss the studio, but it's good, but it could have been better. Because this is the season that could change a lot of the things for this anime, especially how it's perceived. You want pristine animation. You want animation that is going to push it, because there's an amazing story that's holding up these fights, but it just needs that push of crazy animation. Because I don't know if it's just me or my eyes, but sometimes there's a certain dullness to the animation, maybe in terms of the color or something, but certain scenes just seem dull, and then like the vibrancy just goes crazy in certain scenes. Maybe that's just me, but the animation could have become better. And listen, there's always that studio.
Man, no, man, I quit. You quit? I'm done. Yes, I quit. I'm tired of this. What? No, I'm done. You done? I'm done wasting time. I'm about to get started on. Oh, you done wasting time? Right now. Oh, okay. Right now.
And it would push the anime to another level because the story is there and the animation is doing a good job, but you want better animation. And as such, I think that people will criticize the anime because of that. But also on other negative aspects, I might be nitpicking, but the situation that happened with Deku at the start of the season relatively, where everybody's getting transported, I hope I'm not spoiling, but where everybody gets transported, but for some reason Deku, this super powerful character, like he's super strong, was easily dragged away by like a tube around his wrist. And then when you see how he tries to get to the battlefield, you're just like, why didn't you do that? Logically, you could say, okay, maybe he thought that he was gonna drag that villain with him there, potentially, but come on, he's super strong. He could have just tore that up. But in that, it kind of takes away from the anime because it's gone to that predictable, the character who's going to be our saving grace is far away, so we need to hold out until he arrives, which is what is happening. Classic shonen, but it could have been done a bit better if I'm being real with you. And that's pretty much really the only negatives I have of the season. Oh, and last but not least, this is just personal. Best Genist, you are the worst pro hero that I have ever seen in my life, because all you're doing this season is parkour. Now, I knew you were sorry because all the way back from the time you met All-For-One. Now listen, he was pretty intimidating, but you're one of the best pro heroes and you froze up. Okay, I'll let it slide, but I should have known he was sorry based on his outfit. He's got a belt buckle that's covering his mouth that has the initials B and J, but the fact that he had that, I should have known he was sorry. And he's showing me this in season 7 because in a pretty pivotal moment, all he's done is just do a bunch of party tricks and just parkour around. Bruh, come on now.
Come on now, dawg. Come on, man.
Personal grudges aside, this season is pretty good. because with this season you're getting a lot of action, you're getting a lot of high stakes interactions, you're getting a lot of plots. All for One by himself is just this intellectual being. He's on another level in terms of just how many tricks he's got up his sleeve. But then also you're getting the initial essence of what you got from the first season, because Deku and all of these characters still want to be heroes, but this is what happens when you get heroes. You have to deal with villains, and sometimes these fights aren't these awesome clean fights. They get dirty, they get dark, people lose their lives, and it's pretty awesome to see the season show that, because we see the conviction that the villains have, but we also see the conviction that the heroes have. And also, this is really underrated about My Hero Academia, but the OSTs are amazing. There are moments where the OSTs will subtly carry the entire scene, where you can think like, well, it could have been better animated, but because the music is just so amazing and so amped, you forget about that. And a character like Endeavor basically just trying to punch All for One, not even really landing, just trying. Because the music's just so crazy, you feel like that was the most intense moment ever. And that is an amazing point that actually should get brought up. My Hero Academia has got an amazing OST. So with this anime, you're getting a lot of things. And unfortunately, I still worry that it might not get the attention that it deserves. Despite all of the changes that have been made and how good of a job it's been doing after certain low points and trying to push the anime back up, I still unfortunately think that a lot of people might overlook this season or this entire anime because it's My Hero Academia, which is kind of unfortunate. But I really think that if you gave this season an opportunity, I think that you would be really impressed, because whether you've dropped it, started it back up again, left it because it didn't become what you thought it would be, it's still a pretty good anime that's been working to get to this point from the first season to right now. And I think that being overlooked because of the assumptions, certain ideas of the fan base, is just so unfair, because what's happening is nothing short of amazing. And it's really exciting to see how this anime has grown, but also how far it can go.